My punks and my skins, the next time that I appear before you, the election will be over. And only then will we know if we are celebrating an 11th hour close call or bracing ourselves against the advent of a nightmare. At this juncture, it is too early to tell. It remains uncertain. But that about which there is no uncertainty whatsoever is that you and that I, as Americans, far beyond mere tendencies or compulsions, but almost as if by design, we, the people of America, have always rooted for and sided with the underdog, the dark horse candidate, the odd man out. As Americans, we have always favored, supported, and championed the underdog in any contest, any competition, any confrontation, especially if it is some sort of David and Goliath standoff between the underdog and the boastful, belligerent bully. Now you know that this is true. It is irrefutably, incontestably true. It is a part of the great American pathos, the national zeitgeist. It is the very spirit of the American collective conscious. It is a part of your legends, your traditions, your heritage, your history. Whether you love them or hate them, your founding fathers, they themselves were underdogs. A raggle-taggle, raggedy, motley crew of underdogs, fighting against an insufferably oppressive tyranny. And as much as you might revile them today, had you been back in time with those founding fathers, it is very likely that you would have sided with them. But whether or not you would have, it is almost a metaphysical certainty that you would not have sided with the crown. All of these references, they're so outdated, they're too academic, they're too boring. Well, this does not pose a problem. It is very simple. I merely have to transpose in order to accommodate you, and I am willing so to do. Who among you watches Back to the Future and wants to see Biff win? Nobody. Who watches Pee-wee's Big Adventure and wants to see Francis Buxton claim the prize at the end of the movie? Nobody. No decent American watches an Indiana Jones movie and wants the bad guys, the villains, to win. Whether we are talking about the rebels from Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, whether we're talking about the Lone Ranger, or Robin Hood, or Zorro, or Wonder Woman, whether it's Barbie or Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz, we as Americans always want to see them win in the end. What decent American watches MASH and actually roots for Frank Burns? We know that this is not done. We're cheering for Hawkeye, and for Trapper John, and for BJ, and later in the series, we're rooting for Margaret Houlihan. We want to see Major Houlihan win. We want to see how far that woman can go in this man's army. What American watches G.I. Jane and doesn't want to see that young woman succeed? And who tunes into Aliens and doesn't want to see Ripley emerge triumphant? Oh, she's battered and bleeding and bruised. She's anguished and exhausted, but she emerges triumphant. This is what we want to see. This is what we expect to see. Yes. These are imaginary characters. They are works of fiction. They have no bearing on reality. Whether or not they are imaginary characters, they have every bearing upon your reality. For let it be remembered that it was you who blurred that line between entertainment and this, your reality. It was you who embraced, who engaged in this video game reality TV show dynamic and made it the order of the day. Business as usual. So you see, boys and girls, punks and skins, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, loving narratives and tropes as you clearly do, acknowledging all of this as your reality, as Americans, all which remains is for you to answer that burning question of the century. Are you willing to go all the way? Are you willing to see this thing through to its logical and rightful climactic close? Because be this so, you are left with but one option, and that is to support the underdog, which in this instance is embodied by the Democratic contenders for the presidency. That Make America Great Again degenerate, he's not the underdog, you see. He was never the underdog. No. He's the bad guy in this story. He's the villain. And as Americans, it is your imperative, privilege, prerogative, and pleasure to see him fail.